The next morning, I had time and I Googled him. The first thing that pops up.
It's time to vlog with blah blah blah. Ooh, a vlog with blah blah blah. Well, let's go.
What's up? What's up, y'all, and welcome to another episode of Blah Blah Blog. It's your girl Marsha, aka Dulce, author of Baggage Claim, a life story, available on Amazon as well as my website mmdulce.com. You can see the description down below because I'm giving you 6 chapters of this juicy 21 chapter novel for the free ski. You're welcome. It has been really well received so far, so I hope you'll check it out, but that's not why you're here.
You're here for story time, honey, and it is our mother goose, okay?
So I'm going to tell you guys a story about this no good ass nigga. Okay, I want to preface this by saying I'm not bashing black men. I do want to bash this one black man though, and more specifically his head into. So went a little dark there. So I'm gonna tell you guys a story. Okay, I'm gonna tell you guys a story. This just happened literally the beginning of May. So here it goes. Okay, on May 2nd, I'm going to kind of like skim past a lot of the text messages just because I don't think it's that important, but I do want to give you guys enough context so you guys understand everything that that kind of transpired and what's making this person so just boo-boo. Okay, just absolute boo-boo. All right, so basically May 2nd, I was out twirling with the girls in Midtown here in Atlanta, and I do not normally drink, so quite naturally drinking with the good Judies, boo-boo, if you do not have a liver that is ret to go, you will later on be ret to go, okay? So I was drinking with the girls, so I am inebriated, okay, to say the very least. And then one of our friends that's with us, it begins like throwing up. So I go out and I'm like, you know, there rubbing his back and everything like that. And you know, one of the little security guards or whatever starts flirting with me and I'm flirting back or whatever. Now I can't hold you guys. I do not remember very much. I remember he took a hit of his vape and I'm like, you vaping on the job? What's in the vape, sir? Like I was just being a troll, whatever. But he's all like into me or whatever. So we're flirting through the night, but like we leave one spot, and if you've ever been to Midtown on a Sunday fun day, you just go down the entire strip, right? So we're having a good time. And then we do exchange numbers, and he already starts calling me baby girl, and I'm just like, relax. And I'm like really short with him. And he ended up like kind of asking about like my whereabouts, and he was like, please be safe, let me know when y'all leaving. I said, aw, you sound like you care. And he was like, duh, because that's the protective person I am as an emasculated man. Whether I'm in this uniform or not, you're gonna feel safe around me. Emoji 100 emoji, I don't play about safety, heart. So I'm like, oh, he's doing a lot. But I'm like, you're also not using emasculated in its proper context. So I hate people that are on their Clifford Harris where they want to use big words just to sound like they know something, but whatever. Long story short, I do want to bring this part up. I'm like, oh, okay, I see you, whatever. He's like, you ain't seen shit yet. Stick with me and you'll find out a lot more of the great qualities and virtues I possess. Okay? Anyway, long story short, I end up being a little too inebriated to really drive. So whenever I'm brought to my car, I decide I am just gonna chill. But one thing he said before we left, that he was like, I know it's a little early for us to be making promises to each other, but can you promise me that if you don't feel like you'll make it home safely, that you'll give me a call and I'll help you get home? I was like, how would you do that? He was like, I'll tow your car, Uber you there. Like, I just really want you to be safe. I don't want you getting hurt. So I was like, I'm not even gonna hold you. My heart was like pitter patter. And I ended up missing his FaceTime call, but I let him know when I made it to my car. And then I basically kind of like just slept in the car for a little bit until like I felt sober enough. And this was literally from 10 to 3 a.m. And then basically took my behind home, sent him a message to let him know I made it. And he honestly just started to do like a lot with like the baby and all that. And because now I'm sober, I'm in my right mind, and I'm just like, relax a little bit, right? I tell this man, where's the message? Because there's like a really annoying message here. First of all, he sends me pictures of him, right? And he's like, I'm ugly, I want you to want me for me. And I'm like, oh my god, I hate guys that do this for attention. But he sends me pictures of himself, then he sends a video where I'm gonna conceal his identity, but I want you to hear this video. One more time. I don't know if you heard that, but basically you can hear someone saying baby in the background. He also sends this one picture, and I'll kind of touch on why this picture was pretty significant, of him in a suit or whatever. And he was pretty well dressed. My friend thought he looked gay, but I felt like in person I didn't get those kind of vibes. You know, I really barely remember what he said. Anyways, we're talking. And I was like, I did address the whole baby thing. He said it's a video from last year with my ex. I don't know if the sound on or not, but I think we were out of town. Can't remember where. I just like my fresh cut. Shrug emoji. So I'm just like, interesting, right? At any rate, I tell him that, you know, I really would like to meet you sober. I'm leaving town, so I would like to just see if I can just meet you real quick. We just get up real quick so I can catch a vibe sober, right? Get a feel for this guy. He's all like, oh man, I'm running errands, making up excuses or whatever. So I was like, okay, maybe another time. He said, no, I want to see you. What did you have in mind? I was like, well, you know, maybe we can go to the park. This man says, I will always try to make time for you because how I'm feeling you already, and I pray this feeling never changes, but I will not get my hopes up for a short fling because you're plain emoji, flying all the time, side face emoji. As an Aquarius, it's so all or nothing for us, or we rather not even bother with the experience at all, TBH. And you seem serious, which is making me more intrigued than you, drool emoji. I'm from NY and I haven't explored ATL enough to know the amusement areas except to patrol them. And I'm like, you're coming on way too strong. Literally, sir, this trip was booked way before like we met. Even if I did decide to book it as soon as I met you, what does that have to do with getting to know you? Why are you sounding like this so early? You sound like a freaking control freak, right? But I was like, you know what? Let's not cut someone off too early. I said, you know what? Let's FaceTime. And during that FaceTime call, I nipped a lot of things in the bud, and I was like, I don't like this. This sounds controlling. I don't like when people do the baby, you know, thing too early. So please don't do that. And then we eventually got to a place where I was comfortable enough to let my guard down, and I smiled. And this guy was like, oh my gosh, he was like, there it is. There's that smile I was falling for. And I was like, here you go, right? So at any rate, you know, he's showing that he understands what I'm talking about. He's like, yo, I'm not trying to scare you off or anything like that. And he ended up saying, don't take my friendly passive words as pet names. It's more of a form of verbal judo or affirmation that follows compliance because people take it better than sir or ma'am sometimes. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, he just, honestly, I'm gonna spare you guys. Honestly, he is very pro law enforcement, except he left law enforcement because of, you know, just like the you know, the discrepancies and the injustices and everything like that. So he didn't like it, but he's still in this like law enforcement mentality where everything has something to do with law enforcement, like verbal judo. Like, okay, sir, I don't really care. You calling me baby girl is not gonna make me do what you want me to do. And he said it's also like dealing with someone with our skin tone. Call them brother and they'll do anything you say. What the fuck are you smoking, brother? Okay, at any rate, I end up going out of town or whatever, and it's Thursday, and he's basically telling me that he has to go, and this is while I'm in Miami. He says, man, I have to go out of town because my baby cousin died of SIDS. And if you don't know, SIDS is sudden infant death syndrome. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Mind you, we were making plans to meet up whenever I got back in town, which would have been Saturday, but he's gonna be out of town. So I'm like, oh man. He said he'll be back Tuesday. I said, okay, bet. I'm so sorry, you know, and I offered my support and whatnot. So then we didn't chat for a couple days, and I was actually really, really fine with that because like I said, he was coming on pretty strong. Cool. So then we end up chatting, and I ended up meeting this guy. Long story short, this guy came on way too strong, cashed at me $25. This guy that I just met. by the way, and I refunded it to him. So when him and I were talking, I was kind of looking forward to talking to him because I was like, you know what, he was sweet, he is pretty nice. So when we were FaceTiming, I told him about the guy and all this other stuff, and I made a joke like, at least someone sent me lunch money. And he ends up cash apping me, and he was like, get you something to eat, I don't like you starving yourself, because I told him like I have a tendency to not eat until like real late or until the next day, blah blah blah. And so I was like, oh my gosh, you did not have to cash app me, that's so sweet. But I'm looking, and he said his name was, let's make up a name, J. Carl. Let's just say his name is literally J. Carl, right? The Cash App said Jonathan Carl Sharp, for example. And I'm like, I thought you said your name was J. Carl. And it was, when I asked you if that was your name, you said, no, it's not a nickname, that is just your name. He was like, oh, you know, as a tactical officer, I do a lot of sting operations, so I have a lot of aliases. So, you know, Jonathan Carl Sharp is just my alias or whatever. Yeah, we do sting operations and drug busts, and just not, you know, marijuana drug busts, but like the big stuff or whatever. And I'm like, okay or whatever. But like, we're on the FaceTime call, I like kind of let that go, and then I showed him like some things around my room, and he saw like my shooting range thing, and I was like, oh my god, that'll be a cute date for us whenever you do get back. And he had told me that he was gonna actually stay longer in Virginia. They hadn't had the service yet, and I was like, okay, well, like, we can definitely go to the shooting range whenever you get back. He was like, oh girl, you turning me on. We hang up, and I'm like, something's not quite right. Now I was just like, what is your name? I feel like you're not being honest with me. And he was just like, and he just said, yo, it's J. Carl. And I'm like, no, but for real. And he was like, I was like, look, I'll send you my ID if you send me yours or whatever. And he was like, ew, no. And I sent mine anyway. I blocked out like my face because I really didn't like my ID picture, and he never wrote back. So I was like, whatever. Next day I wake up and I'm like, you know what, I got time. I got up before my alarm, so I had even more time, okay? So I decided to Google this man's name, the name that was on Cash App, right? Mind you, I'm not head over heels for this guy. I'm kind of repulsed by some of his mannerisms and the energy he's coming off strong with, but I was really trying to give him a chance, right? Because he was very sweet, and it's very nice to have someone that cares about your safety. I mean, at one point he asked me if I would be comfortable sharing my location with him. I said, you know, not this early, but maybe later down the road, because I'm very big on safety too. But this guy had been saying a lot of things that kind of show, you know, that he's really, really, really interested in me. So I was like, you know what, let me just see how this goes, because they always say a guy's supposed to like you more than you like him. I'm like, well, why can't we like each other the same? But I was like, let me just see how this goes. But the next morning I had time, and I Googled him. The first thing that pops up is a wedding website. Shit you not. And I'm like, because I did not expect that. I did not expect that. But a whole wife? A wife? So I do a little bit more digging. The wedding site's not complete. So I'm like, okay, wait. There might be some hope here. When I originally met him, he said he had no socials because he doesn't like social media, XYZ. I always get super suspicious, and I think you should too, if a guy tells you he has no socials. Some guys really don't care for that stuff. Others are living double lives, okay? So J. Carl is living a double life, and he's apparently married to or engaged to this girl, except, you know, with the wedding site being empty, it doesn't give me a lot to go off of. What the wedding site does show, though, is the woman's full name. One thing about most women, or at least I can say one thing about me, we were born and bred for the FBI, okay? I kid you not, I found this girl's Facebook, 3 of her Twitter accounts, her Instagram, and her Snapchat, okay? And unfortunately, when I look at her Facebook account, she is very much engaged to Mr. J. Carl. So I'm like, wow. And it's his whole name on there. So I'm like, wow, this guy really, really, really lied. Like a bold-faced lie, right? So, I mean, I'm talking about her cover photo is them kissing. You know, the status says engage. On her Twitter, the same thing for her, the cover banner up there too. So I'm just really disgusted, especially because it looks like they have been together for at least 3 years, if not longer, because I did not care to scroll down that far. So I don't know about you guys. Please leave a comment down below if you were approached by a man that is taken.com, whether he is engaged, married, or just in just a basic relationship. Would you tell the other woman, or would you pretty much say, you know, that has nothing to do with me? I am gonna share some responses because I did host a poll, and a lot of people did side with me. That's a little hint because I did end up telling her everything, but I did have some people kind of go against that. All right, so one person that I asked what their reasoning was, they said, because it ain't got nothing to do with me. I wasn't the first and will not be the last he messes with. 9 times out of 10, a married woman ain't leaving her married man, so what's the point? But I'm talking about a rich married man. If he's broke, then I'm snitching because that's just disrespectful. I thought that was absolutely hilarious, okay? I did get another response from someone else. Pretty much it basically followed the same sentiment, that they don't want any pressure, they don't want drama, and they would rather keep themselves out the mix. Yeah, I am not that girl. So I'm gonna tell you guys how this conversation between me and Shagirl, we're just gonna call her Shagirl, went, okay? So I reached out to her via Snapchat. I am very big on being incognito, okay? I do not like being easily found because I know people like me are out there, and granted, I'm not even dating, so I'm not in any mess where someone would want to look me up, but I really like being very under the radar. So on my Snapchat name is not the same as my Twitter. It's not the same as my Instagram. And I think that's important to do if you're trying to be undetectable in this world, okay? So I removed my name so that she wouldn't know who I was. She would just see my Snapchat name. So I reached out to her and I said, hey, just wanted to ask you a question. Are you single? Because I did not want to, you know, potentially like do all this if, you know, these social media profiles are outdated and she is indeed single. And she is so sweet. She says, good morning, no, I'm not sorry. I'm like, girl, I am not trying to holla. Are you currently engaged? I hate situations like this, but I wanted to do what I'd want someone to do if I were you. She said, yes, I'm engaged, but what you mean? And I'm like, so I said, well, I will send you a screen recording of the messages. I haven't even saved this number because one thing about me, I do not save people's number because a lot of guys, like you meet them one day, they start talking, a lot of sweet nothings, and then they did the next day. I don't have time. Me and Siri don't have time to be saving and deleting contacts, okay? I said, I haven't even saved this number, but I just want to ask 2 questions before I send all the proof. Are you engaged to Carl J Carl, whatever I said, J Carl, and is he with you now? Because mind you, he is supposed to be in Virginia because of his baby cousin that passed. I'm just checking all the facts at this point. And honestly, I'm really sorry about this because I met this man 5'2", which, fun fact, was the date that they were originally supposed to get married on. Imagine out of that. So, and was under the impression he was single. I do not give my number out to taken men. I'm very sure, even though I was inebriated, I confirmed that he was single. I mean, like he said in the video with the person that said baby in that accent, that, you know, that was his ex. So he is very giving. I'm very single. I'm trying to get to know you. So that she said yes, as in she is engaged to J Carl, and no, love, I'm currently in school. So she's very, very kind. She's realizing I'm just trying to come to her with information, and she's being nice, which a lot of women don't expect to happen, which is why a lot of women said, I'm gonna stay in my lane. All right. So I said, all right, I wanted to see if he was lying about being in VA. He said his baby cousin died due to SIDS. I'm gonna send you a screenshot of the Cash App he sent last night. I'm gonna screen record the messages. The only thing I'm deleting is the last part with my ID because I don't need you having all that, but I'll screenshot it so you know nothing's missing. And then I said, and I just want to be honest with you, I'm not saying shit to him once I do this, I'm just blocking the number. She said, we just came back from Houston, so when was he in VA? Laughing face. Okay, no problem, I appreciate it. And his baby cousin, what? He Cash Apped you also? And I'm not the type to say anything just yet. I like to play stupid. So I'm over here like, you lied about a dead baby? What is wrong with you? just say you're out of town. Like, okay, if you're a liar, be a liar, but why you gotta throw dead babies into this? Like, that is, honestly, I think that pissed me off almost more than him being engaged, because you really went out of your way to lie that bad. Like, I've never seen someone lie this damn bad. So I was like, oh, what? I said, oh, these niggas be lying. So I sent her, I was trying to get her the footage, sent her a screenshot of the Cash App and whatnot. And she said, I'm gonna screenshot these so I can save them, just letting you know. I said, okay, like, no problem or whatever. I said, she wanted to know where we met. She said, sad part, this month we were supposed to get married, but I pushed it back till next year. You know, women's instincts be on point. Laughing face. And truly, she must have been here before, because ain't no way you finna be kiki-keying with me about women's instincts if, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. She did end up telling me she was a Scorpio, so I was like, okay. At any rate, she said, I don't know anything about no baby cousin passing away. You must have known before he even told me, crying, laughing. So again, he wasn't in Virginia. He was in Houston. And she said he's at work. He is not in no damn Virginia, and they got back from Houston already. So I'm like, wow, he really went out of his way to lie to me. And it's interesting because when he was on FaceTime, his camera wasn't on, but he said, you won't be able to see me anyways. It was dark. He was outside his cousin's house. Again, with this fucking cousin that lost his baby that doesn't exist. It's tragic. So I was just like, that's some bullshit. This nigga said he left last Thursday to VA and will be back today. Then turned around and said he's staying for the week. I was not born yesterday. He think he 12 then. Bitch, I'm 13. Because I find everything the fuck out. I found your Facebook, all your Twitters, your IG, you name it. He got the right one. And I said, I'm waiting on this video to upload so I can send it to you. She said, girl, stupid ass 12. You send your whole identity. Who's not going to look your shit up? I'm like, exactly. Blase, blase, blase. Yeah, she said we left to Houston last Thursday and I came back Sunday. He's at work. Don't block him yet. And I was like, what? Because she wanted me to kind of pull some more out of him. But I'm like, sis, how much more do you need? This man already said, I want to take you seriously. You're flying all the time. I don't want no short fling. What do you want, you engaged man? What do you want? You clearly want a therapist because you're over here lying about dead babies to a stranger. Like, what? I don't know. At any rate, she was like, men think they're sneaky, but women are much sneakier. She's been having second thoughts and she's been trying to figure out why. She's like, yeah, you FBI for real. I still don't know how you found my Snapchat of all things. And I was like, girl, it really wasn't that damn hard. And then she was like, after a while, she was just like, you know what? You can just block him now. It doesn't matter. I printed the screenshots out and taped them all over the room for when he comes back home tonight. I said, oh shit. I blocked his number after I did send the initial text because she did kind of want me to start a conversation that would kind of pull more of like what he wanted with me. But I just went ahead and blocked the number. She was following me on Twitter. I mean, I'm sorry, not Twitter. She was, you know, watching my snaps on Snapchat, which I thought was a little weird, but I guess I kind of understand if your fiance is heavily flirting with another woman and trying to start something up. You probably want to see what she's looking like. It's just something of like curious nature. But it just was kind of weird. And I was like, are we supposed to be like kind of like friendly now? Because I barely would look at my friend's Snapchat on Snapchat. I am the worst to add on Snapchat because I literally just and then I go. But I realized like she was looking at all my stories, and I just happened to look at hers once and I responded and I was like, oh my god, I love this hairstyle on you, because it really did look really cute on her. This girl is not ugly. She's definitely way thicker than me. I'm gonna leave some stuff out. I don't need to mention her OnlyFans account. That's not important. Was that petty? All right, but anyways, like she's just way more voluptuous than I am or whatever. But she is a really pretty girl in my opinion. And she was just like, thanks. And it was kind of dry, and I was like, okay, girl, let me just go back and mind my business. But I realized she just kept looking at my snaps. I did just recently remove her from there just because it's like, okay, we are not friends. I had been met with some people that are saying, well, why are you telling her? Why are you telling her? A lot of guys definitely did not understand why I would go back, or why any women would go and involve themselves in telling the woman the truth. But I'm like, it must be because you guys don't want to know the truth, or you guys are very rarely in the situation where someone has to come to you and tell you about your woman. But a lot of men try to be like, nah. But one woman was just like, well, what would be your intent behind it? And I was like, that's a great question. In my opinion, at the end of the day, if I were in that person's shoes, I would want all insight that I can possibly have to make good decisions moving forward. You can only get insight either through self-discovery or through other people helping you figure something out. And honestly, that's what that was. Me telling her information that she didn't have before. Now, whatever you do with that, sis, go be well. I don't care. You guys stay together, get together. Kudos to you. You guys break up. Kudos to you. The dead baby resurrects. Kudos to the baby. At this point, I really don't care. However, if it was me, I would want to know the truth. And I was so I was kind of upset with my mom, because my mom was like, you broke that girl's heart. And I was like, I didn't cheat on her. I didn't break that girl's heart. He did, and I just happened to let her know about it. There's no way I'm standing behind a man that decides to be just dishonest and really begin cheating, because that I don't care if we didn't have the opportunity to get physical or really pursue a relationship. You literally were laying the foundation, and you laid it on thick, real thick, coming on super strong, pet names, talking about future dates, criticizing me for getting on a plane once, making it seem like I'm gonna have this jet-setting lifestyle. Honestly, there were a lot of red flags, and my homegirl, one of my homegirls, she was like, girl, run. And I was just like, I know, right? But I was just kind of like, let me just see how this plays out. I'm so thankful that because of past experiences, I know not to get too excited about people, but it's just really, really sad. You can be out here engaged. I mean, they have these beautiful photos. Mind you, one of the photos that they took during their engagement photo shoot was one of the photos that he sent me, but it was one of him by himself. So you send me a picture from your freaking engagement photo shoot. You also send me a video with the girl in the back. These men are just so messy within their lives. It's disgusting. So yeah, that was that. That was very recent, and I don't know what she's done. I think the last time I just happened to look out of curiosity, her Facebook page still said engaged, which doesn't mean anything, because it's not like a lot of people are quick to be like, oh, now that I've broken up with you, let me go change my social media. But I don't know what she's gonna decide to do. But you guys, talk to me in the comments. Are you sticking behind your man if you find out that he's flirting heavily with the girl? Like, what would you do? The baby? Just let me know what you guys are thinking. But I had to bring you guys this story time, because a lot of you guys were waiting to see, well, what the heck happened with this no good ass man. It is just really sad out here. It goes to show, for all my single people out there, if you ever get a little bit down looking at people online with their little Amy gonna say yes and whatever, and like feeling all lonely, don't feel bad, because everything that glitters is not gold, baby. Some people are really out here lying down with treacherous liars, okay? Posing on social media like, we have it all figured out, and yet dealing with the infidelity you know, off record, you know. So just be mindful of that. It's not all it's cracked up to be. For some of these couples out here, they look happy, they look engaged, they look like they're gonna make it through, and who knows, maybe they will make it through. But I don't want a man that's out for the streets, like literally for the whole streets. I want no parts of that. I am deucing a man if that happens to me. My mom was like, you wouldn't marry him? I'm like, that wedding would turn into a funeral, a real one, okay? No dead babies, okay? No fake dead babies. Like, I wash my hands with that situation. But that was the story time. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to hear more stories, unfortunately, from my past, I have quite a few that I could dig up for you guys. So just let me know. Make sure you hit the like button, comment down below, let me know your thoughts. And until next time, be refined, be ratchet, and be you. And be FBI if you need to, because sometimes you just gotta check. Sometimes you just gotta check these motherfuckers.